you gamesters and fellow toy hunters, coming to you today with a long overdue pickups video. This is a vacation pickups video, so it's toys and books and games and various bric-a-brac from my hunting and junking around with my grandparents on vacation, and I really enjoy it. We found a lot of neat stuff, and I was going to get some video footage, but my grandfather really wasn't feeling well this week, and they're kind of camera shy anyway, so when we would go places, we would just run in and run out, and so I really didn't get a chance to get any video footage, but I did get a lot of really neat stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start with the books that I got, because I'm not sure how many people are interested in books, and it's probably the best place to start, so you can like skip past the books. But I am a huge bibliophile. It's my $5 word for today. Yes, I do use words that long. Anyway, I love books. I'm not a huge fan of ebooks. I mean, I like books. I like solid books that I hold in my hand. And every now and again, I have to actually go through my book collection and kind of look at what I have read, what I read once and didn't care for, and yada yada. Clean them out and clean out my collection, and I donate. So I do give back, but love, love, love books, and I love to read, and not just comic books, I mean real books. So one of the first places that I stopped with my grandparents was their local library, and their local library is huge. It's so big that it actually has its own store attached to it, and they sell donated books in there, or books that they're withdrawing from circulation and whatever, and they're usually really, really cheap. And for somebody who is a huge book hound like I am, it's really great to be able to find good, cheap books, because depending on the book, I might end up donating them back. Anyway, but the first book that I found there was The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I really like a lot of Amy Tan's work, not everything she's done, but I do like her quite a bit, and I actually didn't have a copy of The Joy Luck Club in my collection, so I was glad to get a good condition copy of that. I also got another Amy Tan book, The Kitchen God's Wife, and this is actually a replacement copy for the copy that I already have. I have the same exact copy, but it is like falling to bits. I have worn it out in reading it, so I was glad to be able to pick up a much better condition copy than the one that I have, and to be able to replace a book that I really, really love. The next book that I got is actually a children's book, and I got it because my niece and my nephews are getting that age where, I mean, they love stories, they love books, and especially my oldest nephew. And this is a book that I had read to me, and I read it myself, and I just really loved it, and it was one of the books that kind of sparked that fuel and that love of reading, and that is The Cricket in Times Square. It's a wonderful story, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good book to read to your children. It's definitely good. Okay, the next book that I got is actually it's one of my what I call dork books. I'm a huge fan of Robert Jordan, and I love the Wheel of Time series. I started reading it a few months ago, and I haven't gotten very, very far in it because I've been reading other things. I read other things at the same time that I'll read various books. It's kind of confusing. I can usually keep everything straight, though. And his books are just, it's not necessarily that they're expensive, but there's a lot of them. So I believe it's like a 14-book series or something. It's crazy. So if I can find his books at a really, really cheap price, I'm definitely going to go for it. And if you are a bibliophile, you know the worth and the weight of finding really good cheap books. So I ended up picking up a copy of book 4 of the Wheel of Time series, which is The Shadow Rising. And it's a hardcover. The dust jacket is a little messed up on the spine, but it's really in beautiful shape. And I picked this up for $1. So I was really excited about that. You know, you can't beat $1. And the last book that I picked up at the library is also another Robert Jordan book. It's book 10 of the Wheel of Time series, and it's the Crossroads of Twilight. So this one's in even better shape than The Shadow Rising, and it was $2, I guess, because the shape was better, but hey, $2 is better than, what do these hardcover books go for? $29.95, so can't beat that with a stick. And that'll do it for the books that I picked up at I forgot to bring a book over. It's actually one of the most expensive books that's sitting on the shelf over there. One of the most expensive books in my book collection right now, but a little more about that a little later. I'll actually get up and go get it when it's time to talk about it. But we went to the flea market on Friday, and there's a lot of bookseller stalls there, and generally books are pretty cheap. There's one bookseller, though, that I do like to go to who's there, and she has lots of books for really cheap, and I'm usually in the science fiction fantasy section like nobody's business, or in the kids section just to see what they have. So I ended up picking up another Robert Jordan Wheel of Time series book, and that is book 3, The Dragon Reborn. And I already have books 1 and 2, The Eye of the World and The Great Hunt, respectively. So again, if I can find these books for cheap, because there's a lot of them, I'm definitely going to go for it. Now, with the softcover books, the covers, because of the binding process and stuff, and they're just such big books, the covers do tend to separate away from the pages, but this one was in good condition and didn't seem to have that problem, so I picked it up. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but the whole lot of books that I got ran me $7, so not bad at all. The next 2 books that I picked up are books by Terry Goodkind, and I'm really enjoying his series too. I think it's not the Song of Ice and Fire. Song of Ice and Fire. Okay. Is it the Song of Ice and Fire? I don't think so. What is that? Am I getting that confused with Game of Thrones? I don't know. The Song of Ice and Fire just popped into my head. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't read Game of Thrones, by the way. Books where everybody dies. Not good. Anyway, this is a series that I'm really enjoying. My best friend in the whole world, James, actually kind of put me onto this series, and basically I got mandated to read it. Again, it's another series that has 8 Squam books in it, and if I can find them cheap, I will. I ended up picking up Phantom and Confessor, which I believe Confessor is the last book in the series. And then he's doing kind of a follow-up series to it, and I do have one of the books in that. So, yeah. I have, it's the Sword of Truth series. I'm sorry. I have Wizard's First Rule is the first book, and I highly recommend this series if you love to read and if you like fantasy books, because it's good. It'll kind of make you sit up and take notice. It is an excellent series. Okay, and the last book that I picked up from her is, again, it's from an author that my friend James put me on to, and that is Anne McCaffrey, and she does really good work. And she does this series, which she's most known for, the series called The Dragon Riders of Pern. And there was actually a Dreamcast game that was based on that, and I found out about it. I haven't picked up a copy of it yet. I've heard that the game is like, it's not really that great, but I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Riders of Pern, and thank you, James, for putting me onto that, because it is a great series. But it's hard to find her books. Some of them didn't get reprinted, and I do have all the first 3 in the series. excuse me, that did get a reprint. But some of her stuff's just very hard to find. So I ended up finding the Chronicles of Pern First Fall. Now, this is going back, like before the first 3 books in the series. So this is a prequel book, and it's kind of talking about where the Were Riders came from, or the Dragon Riders came from, and everything. So it's the origin story, and I just lost my mind when I saw it. And if you are familiar with this series, or if you're not, I highly recommend that you pick it up and start reading it. But you'll kind of know, if you know anything about the series at all, you'll kind of know why I kind of went so crazy, because the origin story of Pern and everything, just I've really wanted to know everything about that. So I was really excited to find those, and I'm noticing my time keeps skipping, so I'm hoping my video isn't looking off. If it is, I apologize. Whoops. See, I'm losing stuff. Just I have too many things on my head.
Anyway, and coming up on the last books that I have, and I'll have to get that other book because I really kind of want to, not to brag, but kind of sort of because I'm just really excited I found it. We stopped by a little thrift store. It's like a thrift store for the homeless, and we were rubbing shoulders with homeless people. It was kind of crazy in there, but went back to the back again where the books were, and I still need to do some cleaning on these because they were kind of icky when I found them, but I lost my mind again because I found 3 more Anne McCaffrey books, and I went crazy. I ended up finding All the Weirs of Pern, and this is a reprint. So, but I haven't been able to find this at all. So I was really kind of excited when I saw it, considering I haven't been able to find a reprint. I didn't even know they reprinted it. I also got Dragon Song, and these are the ones that need to be cleaned up a little more because inside they're kind of icky. And I don't think these got reprints at all. And I also got Dragon Drums. Now, they are both, it's Volume 1 and Volume 3 of the Harper Hall trilogy, and I looked all over for Volume 2, and I didn't see it. They have Volume 1 and Volume 3, so I know they had to have had Volume 2 somewhere, but my grandfather said he figured that somebody went in and bought Volume 2 already, and it had to have been, because it just was not there. So, or it could have been that that Volume 2 was so dilapidated they just threw it away, because these are in pretty rough shape, but I mean, they're readable. They had to have been stored in somebody's barn or garage or whatever for a while to get them in this shape, but I am going to run quick and get that other book that I was talking about and move some of these things so that it can function a little bit better. Woo! Large stack of books. Oops. Avalanche. Okay. Alright, back again. Kind of. Wow, not even in the camera frame. Alright, now I'm back. Okay, so, I'm going to tell you all just a little story about why it is semi-important to check your Goodwills. Went to Goodwill with my grandparents yesterday, and we always look all over the Goodwill just to see. I usually go straight back to where the DVDs and the games are. There really wasn't anything there except a man who didn't know the meaning of deodorant, and that was entertaining. And so I kind of got in and got out of that section as quick as I could. But I went to the book section, of course, and I'm looking through all of the books, and I always check the children's book section because, of course, you know, we have the kids come over, and as long as I kind of disinfect them, you know, and sanitize the books, I have no problem with, you know, them reading them or whatever. And it's a good way to get some good children's books for pretty cheap. And as I'm looking through the titles, I saw
spine of a book, and it said Tolkien. And it was a story I'd never heard of. It's the Smith of Wootton Major. And it was a little unassuming book. And, you know, if you know anything about Tolkien, he is, of course, famous for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. So, seeing that, I didn't even know that he had written anything else. And apparently he wrote some children's books. So, the children's books are like $1.35 a piece there. So, I picked it up and said, oh. I said, I'll just take this home and I'll read it to the kids because I love Tolkien's stories. He was along Cricket and Times Square. The Hobbit was even more instrumental in giving me my love of reading and love of stories and books. And my love of fantasy. So I thought, great, he is a wonderful writer and I'll read this to the kids. So when I got back out to the car and I really started looking at it, the dust jacket's in a little bit rough shape and it is inscribed inside. But when I opened to the first page, or the third page actually, it said first printing. So this is a first edition, 1967. So I came home and my grandfather was looking at it and he said, oh, I think you found something good there, you know. So I came home and I told my mother, I said, I found a Tolkien book. Oh, did you? And I said, yeah, it's a first edition. She quit listening after I said first edition. And she told me to go get it. And then we looked it up. And this book is worth between $70 and $100. So all that to say, and I'm going to put it away and put it in an acid-proof bag and keep it very nicely, and it will only go up in value. So all that to say, check your Goodwills because you never know what you're going to find. And I was just like, ah, when I found out, and all that because I love Tolkien. And yeah, I was so excited when I saw that, and I'm definitely going to take very, very, very good care of this book. So I think even if you are not a great bibliophile, that is a very impressive story. Yeah, so that's all my books. And actually what I think I'm going to do, so this isn't so abysmally long, I am going to divide this haul into two parts. First part is going to be books, and the second part is going to be everything else. So, definitely be looking forward to part 2. I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you are not already one of my lovely subscribers, please do yourself a favor. Click the subscribe button down below and become an inmate of the Madhouse. And definitely click that thumbs up button. I love to see thumbs ups. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. And also lets me know you'll want to see part 2, which I'll probably post anyway, but it just lets me know. And if you feel so inclined, please leave a comment down below. I love to read them and I love to respond to them. I want to thank you guys again so much for watching. And as always, peace, love, and happy gaming and toy hunting. Bye, y'all.